Guys, we are here a tad late on this one. 2-1 FAA. Finally was able to hold serve after 2 breaks in a row. Very contested match so far. I didn't think I was going to live stream this one. Today, I got some stuff going on, so I don't think I can do the second one. So I had to choose which one. And I'm glad I made it to this one because this match I was really looking forward to. The head-to-head is 2-0 for Cobolli. But FAA, as I've said in many previous videos, the most accomplished player on the top half of the draw, you know, even in the round of 16. And he certainly has what it takes to make it all the way to the final. But as far as clay courts are concerned, I do think Cobolli is the best clay court player up there on top. And with the head-to-head advantage, even though they played in 2024, I give the edge to Cobolli. But the most important thing for him will be how he handles the occasion, because making a semifinal of a Grand Slam, that's an incredible result. Not only that, but also having a road to the final. There's no Sinner waiting, or Alcaraz, or Djokovic. It's an incredible opportunity. Will he be able to keep his nerves together and find his best tennis? Now, to make things even more complicated, we're going to check the wind speeds in Paris in a second, but it looks extremely windy out there, which in my book, that's an advantage to Cobolli. But I'm only saying that because power players, big servers, are affected by the wind a little bit more than, let's say, guys that are crafty from the baseline, that put a lot of shape on their shots, a lot of spin, that move well with exceptional footwork. Of course, you can say that FAA has all those things. He has the shape on the shots, he has the great footwork. But if we directly compare the two, it is my belief that Cobolli would be a better wind player, because the power game is tough to pull off in the wind. So let's see if Cobolli can pull through this one. Certainly very excited to watch this match. This morning I caught the first set between Chvalinska and Kalinskaya. And can you imagine playing Chvalinska in the wind and with those quirky shots, that side spin slice? I'm definitely going to cover both women's matches in my day 11, right? It's day 11 today? I think day 11 wrap-up video later on this evening. And I'll go into analysis of both matches. I cannot believe Sabalenka lost, even though I had her going out. A random tennis guy says, Nick, you predicted that Arena will lose in the quarterfinal. So she's holding me responsible. Well, yeah, I've had her losing to Mboko, which was kind of a wild pick, because Mboko not really known for her clay court tennis. I stand by that pick. I think Mboko can be dangerous on any surface. I think she's the future of the WTA. Is going to do big things. But certainly didn't have Schneider-Chvalinska in the semis. That I can tell you. If I would have picked that, people would have said, Nick, you need some help, buddy. To me, this tournament is just, the women's side didn't quite match the men's side, but now the top half of the women's side matches the men's side. Everybody out. And it's going to be very interesting. 2 lefties. But playing a lefty like Chvalinska in the wind, or even playing Schneider in the wind, it's brutal. But to be really honest, I did not see anything of Sabalenka-Schneider. I'm going to have to rewatch that prior to be able to comment on it. I've seen some comments here, you guys have watched this match and are shocked, just like I am, that Sabalenka's out. So what does it mean now? Kostyuk or Andreeva? Or maybe Chvalinska or Schneider? Who takes the title? It's going to be so interesting to see. But in any case, let's lock in on this match and focus. My stream is completely frozen. So is the TV coverage. But it's back now. We got 2-all. Cobolli was able to hold. FAA serving 30-15. FAA gets a half-court forehand, but loses his balance, slips a little bit, stumbles, misses the forehand 30-all. Armando said Sabalenka collapsed in the third, very unexpected. Yeah, it was 6-love, right? The third. I mean, it's crazy. You would have thought she would have blazed through those two matches, but that's tennis, you know. Tennis is tough. But let me just say one thing before I get into this match again. The reason why I picked Sabalenka to lose, despite her incredible tournaments early this year, where she won Brisbane, final of Australian Open, she could have won that match. It was 3-set loss to Rybakina, then won the Sunshine Double. Beat Rybakina in the Indian Wells final, saved match point. Beat Coco in the Miami final. On clay, though, she dropped her level a little bit, and I think she made a mistake of skipping Stuttgart. I think, like I've said many times, showing up in Madrid for the clay court season, it might work for someone like Alcaraz if he's injured or something. It might even work for Sinner, but because these guys are so good on the surface and there's a level discrepancy. But generally, showing up in Madrid will not produce good results at Roland Garros. Of course, I'm proven wrong with this every year, because you see a guy, like a Svajda go in the fourth round. So you'll see it here and there that players come through, but just judging the past success of players who have performed well on clay, such as Anand, Swiatek, of course Rafa, Novak, they play a lot of clay tournaments to get ready for this one. It's just the cumulative effect of the confidence that you collect, and clay court season is not that long. I mean, it is long if you count the 250s. It starts in February and it ends, I think, in Umag is the last one right before the US Open. So it's like July. But, it's unfortunately just 250s. So the top players will not play those tournaments, most of them. Other than some top player here and there, like Bublik last year played those two tournaments in the Alps, Kitzbühel and Gstaad. So for those reasons, because the clay court season is so short, I think Sabalenka made a mistake showing up in Madrid and not playing Stuttgart. She should have played Stuttgart. Because what happens is, look, if she wins Madrid, all good, right? And I think that was the calculation, because she's really good at Madrid, Sabalenka. But she ends up losing there, right? And then she goes to Rome, loses there as well. And all of a sudden, you're in Roland Garros, you haven't reached a single semifinal on clay, and it can't put a little bit of doubt in your head. So that's why I picked her to lose. It'd be interesting to see whether next year she plays more. Okay, I got Fonseca Menchik in the score. Whoops. You guys should have notified me about that. Oh yeah, you said Fonseca Menchik. My usual person that helps me with the live streams is not doing it today. That's why I can't do the second one. And I wasn't even going to do this one, because doing it alone is very stressful. But let me quickly, I'll be right back. Let me quickly adjust this. Okay, guys? Guys, fixed. Look at that beautiful scoreboard. Problem solved. Swing volley, FAA makes it. Love 30. There's a window on the Cobolli serve. See, the thing is, if we discussed the window already, but if Cobolli gets a little bit passive, that's where you can get paid a price big time against FAA. Big time, because FAA, when he's dictating play, he's extremely dangerous. That was a good point from Cobolli there. Big serve and then puts away the forehand. So it's key for Cobolli, somewhat similar to the match against Vaida, to not just rely on FAA giving him unforced errors, which in the wind you could make the argument to like just let this guy self-destruct, but there's no guarantee that this will happen, right? So I think even though the conditions are tough, Cobolli will have to play aggressive. I really like his ad serving on the ad side with the changing in the serve positioning and all that, and kicking, and also like faking the kick and going down the tee like he did on that 15-30 point right there. That's what I really like about Cobolli, and that's definitely a clay court tactic. Get that kick to go way wide, get the guy off the court, and then just dominate with the forehand. There goes body there. Let's see what it does in the second serve. Big kick serve, nice return from FAA, but Cobolli sends him running. And FAA overhits the squash shot, 3-all. Zverev is licking his chops. I don't think he's licking his chops over this yet. He's got to come through Menchik, which will be tricky. It will be tricky. That's going to be an interesting match to watch, yeah, for sure. Big serve from FAA. He's running around that backhand, hitting forehands from the backhand side, but gets a bad bounce there. He's about to wipe off, even out the court there. He mishits a forehand, lob 15. Lob 15. Chris Eubanks on the sidelines. I think Chris Eubanks underutilized on TNT. Why isn't he not on that desk? I mean, listen, I like that TNT desk. I like those segments. They're fun. Wozniacki, Sloane Stevens, Query and Isner, I find those two funny. I don't know, something about those guys sitting next to each other. It's good, but find some space for Eubanks as well. I feel like Bouchard and Eubanks have been delegated to the whisper seat or whatever that's called. The one next to the court during the match. 15-all, big serve from FAA down the tee. I think it was an ace, right? FAA, one of the best servers on tour. When you get on a quick court, this guy is very difficult to break. He's an absolute beast indoors. In my eyes, I mean, of course, he's a top 5 player, but you can make an argument that he's the 3rd best indoor player in the world. It's Zverev. I don't know. Let's maybe put Zverev at 3, but there's Djokovic too. So I don't know. But last year, FAA was the 3rd best player indoors behind Sinner and Alcaraz. And I would have maybe put him even above Alcaraz prior to last season, but last season Alcaraz proved that indoor doesn't matter that much. He'll figure it out at the tournament in Paris too eventually, but Alcaraz could have won the ATP Finals last year. I really think he could have won that match against Sinner. Even though it was straight sets for Sinner, he was close. But FAA, very consistent during the indoor season, was in the final of Paris. And he's won many tournaments indoors. It's a nice hold there from FAA. And 4-3. Huge chance for both gents, yes. Humongous chance for both guys. We got Shadow here for the first time. Shadow's on the cam. He's very shy, but he showed up today. He's been on a stream before, on a live stream. He's been on the videos before, but it's mostly Simone and Lucy. I don't know if you guys were here with me yesterday, where I discussed a little bit the circumstances of this Roland Garros tournament, with all the superstars out and even some of the superstars withdrawing prior to the tournament starting. Musetti's not there. Rune, who's a great clay court player, he's not there. And of course, Alcaraz had to pull out. And he had Sinner losing second round, Djokovic losing third round. I think what we've seen, despite this absence of superstars, has been nothing short of amazing. Like, I can't believe how many great matches I watched. Some of the best matches that I've seen all year. I mean, truly amazing, and great advertisement, but great advertisement for tennis, no doubt about it. Lobbing in the wind is like an absolute nightmare. Cobolli overhits a lob off a slice approach shot from FAA. Love 15. Cobolli gotta be careful here. But it's been incredible what we've seen so far at Roland Garros. But ultimately, tennis does suffer without the superstars. It is what it is. It's an inconvenient truth, but tennis is all about the superstars. And you're going to see numbers that are lower in viewership. I don't know about attendance, that's a different story altogether. I think attendance is probably going to be fine, but overall interest in the remaining rounds, overall viewership on social media or even TV, going to be way lower. And I'm seeing this in my numbers, of course. I can tell you, like, it's, just look at this live. We got 88 people in here. If this was Sinner or whoever, it'd be like way more, right? So, and also the views, it's like you can see it. It's a very easy thing to see where the interest lies. Of course, the tennis fans, the real tennis fans, the hardcore ones, they're going to be right here and they're excited. And I'm certainly one of them. I'm super excited about this tournament. And I'm like glued to this tournament. Like, I'm really, really appreciative of what we've seen so far. So this is not a criticism, but just a statement that tennis, it lives off its superstars. So I think by the time the US Open rolls around, it'll be back to normal. And I think the excitement will be quite high if we get, the big boys back in the final. We'll see. It's going to be tough. John McCain says, I'm interested in tennis. The player is less important. I agree. Like, I'm telling you, that first match, Kalinska against Hwalinska, to me, that's a blockbuster match. I'm glued to that. Like, to me, that's as good as this. And then the Schneider Sabalenka I haven't seen yet, but I'm a huge fan of, like, it doesn't matter. It doesn't have to be Sinner and Alcaraz. I'm just telling you that. Like, I'll watch a challenger match, a futures match. Because tennis is such a great sport to watch. And there's Cobolli with a hold. 4-all. So windy out there. If you guys remember the Monte Carlo final, Sinner Alcaraz, that match was big time affected by the wind, and the quality of that match was affected for sure. So we can't expect to see like amazing tennis like we've seen in the past few days. It's going to be a reduction in level today. Big time reduction in level, which has to be taken into consideration. It's not easy to play in the wind. There's a heavy forehand from Cobolli, ramping it up with the grunts. Backhand pass down the line. FAA cannot handle the volley. Before I went on live, I was still setting up everything. I think it was in the first game or second game. It was in the first game, I think. It was 30-40, FAA Saber breakpoint. He did the most beautiful Pat Rafter style serve and volley. He kicked it, came in, and he did this like forehand cross-court drop shot volley that he slid into. Absolutely beautiful. FAA has a full repertoire of shots, and he's such a complete player. One of the best players to watch. And, I praise this forehand volley, but he misses another one here. 2 in a row. And we got a window here for Cobolli, love 30. Did a little too much with that volley. Didn't hit it clean. A little too much action with the racket head. Overcooks it cross court. And I don't think he had the look there to do that angle shot. Ball was too high. He was too far away from the net. Poker says you need to build and create opportunities for non-superstars to become superstars. This is what's happening now in this tournament. 2 new major champions sport renewing itself. It depends who wins, right? Like, so if Fonseca would have won, I agree with you 100%. This would have blown up tennis to absolute new proportions in Brazil. And it would have been great for tennis. You could make similar arguments for some other guys if they win, but if Zverev wins, I don't think it changes that. I don't think it changes that. I don't think it changes anything. Because Zverev's been there, done that. But for sure, this, if you tune in and you were able to witness what's been happening so far, you got to have nothing but respect for these guys, because the level of tennis has been incredibly good. And it's a great advertisement for the sport. But I'm just telling you, like, it's the big guys on the top that everybody wants to see. Even guys that are like just kind of, they're not real tennis fans, they just watch it occasionally. It's those people that tune in when they have name recognition. But I agree with you that, certain winners can become superstars, no doubt about it. No doubt about it. If they end up winning this thing. So we'll see who ends up lifting the trophy. On the women too. I think now that's very true on the women. Whoever lifts the trophy from those 4 players that are left, superstar level. Because we're going to get a new Grand Slam champion on the women's side. And it's going to be exciting to watch. I'll live stream both of those for sure. And we got a Auger-Aliassime from love 30 to 40-30. Very clutch. I need to check Walinska's live ranking. It was 49 prior to this match, from 114 to 49. We have to check what it is after the semis. It's going to be crazy. I can't believe that. That's so amazing. And Cobolli draws the air, deuce. Let me tell you guys the live ranking of Walinska. 30 in the world. This is insane. She went up 84 spots. She's 30 in the world, going to be seeded at Wimbledon. Can you imagine that? From the qualies. Pila Pew, thank you so much for the compliment. I'm trying to improve with my live streams. It's like I'm very much a rookie still. Prior to starting these live streams, I tried to educate myself. The double fault from FAA. There's a big opportunity right here for Cobolli to get the break. I tried to educate myself on how to do all this. And it's so complicated. So, I'm going to continue to try to improve as much as I can. I'll try to keep doing it. It's not so easy because I make so much other content and I can't give that up. I can't become a live streamer. This is going to be a side thing, a side hustle, I guess. Because the other content that I make for all my other channels and my website, that's the bread and butter, and all my my coaching that I do. Because this I can't, these don't bring in any money, right? So this is just for the passion of it, and to create a community with some nice tennis fans. It's a big hitting from Cobolli. He's ripping. Leaves the forehand short though. And FAA takes advantage with a cross-court rip. Add in. Cobolli complaining to his box. I think a positive body language and being steady mentally, being strong mentally, that's going to be the key for Cobolli in this one. Joel, I don't know what happened to Sabalenka because I didn't see it. Random Tennis Gal, you're doing great. Nick, found you on your live streams before finding your other content on website. Yeah, thank you so much. I think it's a different audience. And is that out? Is the umpire going to come down to check? No, it's not. He's not, or whatever. Is it the man? I guess, I don't know. Umpire not coming down to check. FAA holds 5-4. Hold on a second. What's going on here? Is this frozen again? Yeah, the audience in the chat here, a different audience compared to my other videos, because I've been doing like pro tennis coverage since 2022. That's when I started with the Monday morning tennis rant. It was like once a week then, and then in 2023 I started doing it a lot. So I've been doing it for more than 3 years, and only started doing live streams this year. And I can tell you that from day one, really, even if you go back to those videos in 2023, it gets so heated. I mean, there's a lot of great comments in those videos, don't get me wrong, but it gets so heated in there. It is so, I mean, you can't even imagine what people write. It's heated, it's, you get the toxic fans in there. Of course, not all of it is that. There's some great commenters in there and some very like knowledgeable and cool tennis fans and all that. But there's also a section of like just toxicity. And I'm not seeing any of that in the chats that I've been doing, in these live streams that I've been doing. The chats have been so positive, true tennis fans, and it's been such a cool vibe in here. Doing these with you guys, it's a completely different audience. So I think like these go out to a completely different audience than my other videos. Certain there's some intersection. There's people that watch both, but I feel like this is so niched. I watch along in tennis. It's really not something that a lot of people consume. This type of content. It's super niche, and there's not even that many creators doing it. Cam is like the king of live streams. He's like he gets incredible numbers, and he's so professional. He's amazing at it. But there's also a few other places. Punto de Break, I think they're doing it in Spanish. They're doing quite well, and then maybe a few others. But really, that's it. So it's like super niched. And these watch-alongs are a thing in other sports, like in basketball and soccer, and that's where it's huge. And so if my theory is, if you're willing to watch a tennis match and have a watch along at the same time and be in there and comment in the chat, you got to be a super fan, a lover of the game. You got to be really deep into this game. And I love it, because I'm exactly the same way. I am a super fan of tennis. And long story short, I'm really enjoying the community here and the live streams, watching these matches with you guys. So it's been so far really great. And I plan to continue to do so down the road. So we got a big game right here for Cobolli. He's got to be on top of his game right here with his focus, his concentration, serving to stay in the set. 30-15. There's that big kick with the serve position that's further away from the middle of the court. I'm sure he's going to do a kick on the second serve as well. A big kick right there. And there's a backhand pass from FAA. Cobolli played a half-court forehand right into FAA. That's always, question, where do you go with that shot? Because FAA could have easily moved the other way. But for sure, he didn't place that forehand well. Got 30 all. This right here is a very dangerous part of the match for Cobolli. This set could slip away real quick. Was very solid. This time a much better half-court forehand from Cobolli. Puts it more in the corner. 40-30. Enjoy the idea of watch along for these matches along, you guys. Yeah, I think it's cool because, even prior to doing this, I have a private WhatsApp group. And during big finals, we used to just be in the chat, write messages back and forth, and I loved it. I loved the idea of just watching together with someone and commenting. So this is basically what that is. It's really fun, but again, you have to be a super fan of tennis to be able to be into something like this. Back to deuce, down the line backhand mistake from Cobolli. He went for a low percentage shot there. So tough in the wind. The wind is so tough to handle. And spin is your friend in the wind. Hitting flat down the line. The wind can take that ball and all of a sudden it's just a little bit long or a little bit wide. So when you put spin and direct more to a safe location, that spin can cut through the wind a little bit more. And there's a forehand error from Cobolli. Doesn't get out of the way enough on the forehand. Misses it inside out. Wide and set point FAA. Wow. I had a feeling this was going to be a tricky hold for Cobolli. Holding in the wind to stay in the set, man, that's tough. That's real tough. But there he just confidently rips a half-court forehand into the forehand side of FAA. Safe set point. Back to deuce. Shout out to FAA's racket, the Aero 98. One of my favorite, all-time favorite rackets. There's a big wide serve from Cobolli. Add in. We got into stringing machines and rackets in the last live, 2 days ago. And I really want to apologize because I went on a 3-game tangent about stringing machines and completely lost sight of the match. It was during Sabalenka, Osaka, I think. I love talking about rackets, so maybe in the changeovers we'll talk a little bit of rackets, we'll talk a little bit of gear if you guys are into that. The big forehand for FAA there, but he set up with a very strong return. And look at that forehand just to rip down the line. No chance for Cobolli to get to that. Back to deuce. FAA has such a good forehand. It's for sure one of the best forehands in the world. Such clean technique. Did he make it? No, he missed it. But the problem for Cobolli in this game is that FA is getting his hands on the return and being aggressive, and Cobolli, just because of the wind maybe, he's responding with off-center hits and giving him short balls opportunities to rip and come to the net. Similar thing is happening to FAA though, where he's giving chances for Cobolli to hit half-court volley. So both guys not hitting the ball clean right now. And here's set point again. And it's out. Wow. Auger-Aliassime wins the first set. Frustrating game for Cobolli right there. Let's see how he recovers from this. It's just so tough in the wind, you know, to get any type of rhythm, to get into a clean rally. It's just like every ball is like a improvisation almost, and you're hitting the ball off center, you're not hitting it clean, you're hitting the ball short, it's going out, it's going, it's going long, wide. It's just tough. And, if you lose trust, it makes it 10 times worse. So it's almost like you have to hit hard, continue to hit hard, but safe targets with a lot of spin. And I just feel FAA just handled the wind just a little bit better. It's also more willing to come to the net, and that's another thing that's good in the wind, to come to the net. Because volleying in the wind easier than hitting a ground stroke in the wind, right? So Felix is about to unlock indoor mode. I don't know how I can do it in this wind, but if he unlocks indoor mode, watch out. He's going to the final. Guys, I'll be right back. I just got to do something real quick. Okay, so the roof is closing, and that's going to be a monstrous advantage for FAA. This is a completely different match now. And it's a huge advantage for FAA, huge. Even though, Cobolli struggled a little bit in the wind, but the fact that FAA is up a set now and they're closing the roof, this is going to be a tough one for Cobolli. I think the level of the match will go up a lot though, so Cobolli is going to start playing better. But also FAA is going to start playing better. So it's an advantage because, like I said earlier, FAA is one of the best indoor players in the world, and that also includes indoor clay. It's still clay though. It's still clay. So, Cobolli obviously, when he starts finding a better level, he's going to give himself chances. But he's a set down. So it's going to be very interesting to see what happens next. True Tennis 5 asks, the roof is closed. Why did I make Sinner play in the heat, world number 1? Look, it's an outdoor tournament. You can't just close the roof willy-nilly. If there's a heat rule in effect, that's different. And, you know, there are very strict heat rules in Australia. And even Djokovic wasn't sure in a post-match press conference whether Roland Garros had a heat rule or not. But I think they do. I've heard they actually do. So if they close the roof because of the heat, okay. Because of a heat rule, but just closing the roof willy-nilly because it's sunny, it's an outdoor tournament. You know, I'm a fan of the roof. I remember the times it was a nightmare back in the day where it was like Wimbledon and it was raining and all these rain delays, and they play old matches from last year. Absolute nightmare. And even at Roland Garros, that's the case. So the fact that they have roofs on multiple courts at these tournaments is a blessing. And I love it, but still, you know, it's an outdoor tournament, and they should play with the roof open unless it's a very specific thing like heat index or rain. And wind, I don't know why. I'm not listening, so you guys educate me. I don't know why they're closing the roof. Is it raining? Never heard of a thing like a wind rule. So this is not cool if they're closing the roof because of the wind. Because that wind is part of an outdoor tournament. Maybe it's a rain forecast. Yeah, it could be. I don't know. But certainly it'll help the quality of this match. That's for sure a good thing in that regard. Also, one thing I'll say about the indoor conditions, it makes the ball more visible. I personally have a hard time in sunny conditions to see the ball. And when it's indoor, it's a lot easier to see the ball. So that part is an advantage for sure. Cobolli goes up to the chair umpire and is inquiring about something. The change of lighting is a good thing for us spectators. A lot easier to see the ball. Humonstrous. That's not a word, I don't think, but I do use it a lot. Nick, do you plan to cover the later men's also? Most likely not, because I got something going on today. It would have to be like me getting into that match like in the middle of it, like second, third set. If I'm able to arrange something, I might do it, but as of now, probably not. But I'm not 100%. I might be able to. FA just rock solid right now. And like I said before, the fact that it's indoors, FA is tough to break. Tough to break indoors. One of the best servers and backs up that serve with forehands. One of the best forehands in the world. It's just that 1-2 punch is tough. He can come in. Backhand is also good. See, like right there, FA can do that all day long. Just a monster serve out wide, just comes in, puts the overhead away. It's tough. Joe McCann asks, how is Berrettini making such a deep run after his recent poor form? Look, Berrettini is a big-time player, and, you know, he struggles so much with injuries. It's crazy. And it's nice to see him make a deep run here. And he has it in him to make good results. You know, just that even though maybe recently they weren't that great, the results, he did beat Medvedev 0-0 in Monte Carlo. Let's not forget that one. But it's just like when you have a player who's in a final of a slam, former top 10 player, that guy has confidence in him to be able to do big things. And it's just a matter of time until it clicks if he's healthy, you know what I mean? And even last year, he had some spots where he was playing some great tennis. I remember he beat Djokovic last year, if I remember correctly, in Doha. So this guy's a big timer. But unfortunately, not able to get on a consistent role because of injuries. So how can he make such a deep run after poor form? Yeah, it's just that he's a great player, has confidence to be able to see, to take this opportunity. And he's got a phenomenal chance to make the semifinal. Will Arnaldi have anything left in the tank? He's been on the court so much. He ran so much in that match. I think he will. I think he's an incredible athlete, Arnaldi. It's incredible. So that'll be an interesting match for sure. So down the line backhand from Cobolli for a winner, and there's a break point. Like I said, it's the level of Cobolli for sure is going to go up. It's already gone up. He's playing cleaner tennis. Yapperman says new coaching team with Enquist also has a positive influence. For sure. For sure. Sometimes, I've said this before, there's a 1-2 combo from Felix. T serve and a forehand put away. You get a new coach, you get some new ideas. It's like a breath of fresh air. You get some motivation that way. It can be an impact for sure, a positive one. Like Medvedev, for example, after that US Open first round loss, he changed his whole team. And it's not to say that the old team is bad, but it's sometimes in coaching, when you're working with someone on a daily basis, Cobolli misses a forehand. That's a loose ball error right there from Cobolli. He's kicking himself for missing that on deuce. When you're working with someone every day for many years, you hear maybe the same things a lot repetitively, and it kind of loses its effect. Sometimes that spark can go away after a long time. It gets tiresome when you were with someone on a daily basis. This is something that's very normal to happen in tennis coaching. Doesn't always happen. You will see examples of player-coach relationships that last a lifetime, right, or entireties of careers. But often it'll just get a little stale after a while. It loses that spark. And then somebody new comes in, tells you something a little bit different or in a different way, and all of a sudden you feel motivated, and it hits you a different way. So it can have a positive effect for sure. Yeah, Berrettini is scary good on grass. He's a phenomenal grass court player, and his serve is underrated. His serve stats are very interesting. Like he's always thought that he had one of the best second serves in the game, one of the best kick serves in the game. But one thing that I've seen in this tournament is players utilizing the kick way more. And it's been nice to see because the kick serve is a phenomenal serve on clay. Kilo Man asks, can you explain a bit more why Felix does so well indoors specifically? It's faster indoors. The conditions suit him. And again, he's got a very good serve. He's also got a very strong hold game, right? So he's got that big serve combined with like the ability to come in, got that big forehand. And the way he constructs constructs his service games. You know, he's also clutch. He'll pull out a big serve when he needs it the most. So he's tough to break. And he also is a good returner. He has good reflexes. He likes when the ball comes to him a little bit quicker. You put that all that together, and he likes fast conditions indoors and does really well in them. Cobolli's got to grind right here. He's got to start fighting like crazy right now to just keep this match even and maybe do something on the FAA serve. Don't want to see a situation like Fonseca against Menchik where he lets the first 2 sets slip. It's going to be tough because it's like so difficult to come back from 2 sets to love down. So right here is like where he has to fight as if he's like already losing the match. There's a big T serve from Cobolli for an ace, and he holds 1-all. I just want to check one thing, guys. I'll check it with you guys together. Some of the ranking updates. So let's just go through the women, the ones that are left in a draw. So I already told you, Walinska went from outside the top 100, like 114 to 30, or 113 to 30, which is absolutely insane. Well, let's check out Kalinskaya. She's 20. She only went up 4. Kostyuk, with this result, is going to be, she's 12. And just making sure this is like completely updated, yes. So Kostyuk is going to be 12, which is going to be a career high, of course. Andreeva, it will go up 1 to 7. And let's now take a look at the men. And we'll take a look at like an Arnaldi. That's what I want to see. How high is the Arnaldi ranking going to be? Because he was outside the top 100. He had a foot injury and he couldn't win a single main draw ATP match. Dropped out the top 100, but then won a challenger prior to Rome. And if he didn't defend those points in Rome, he would have dropped down to 150 or something like that. So let's check Arnaldi, where he's going to be. Arnaldi, 53 in the world. How nice is that? Up 51 spots. Nowhere near dropping out of the top 100 now. 53 in the world. That's crazy. Let's check Berrettini. It's a strong love hold from FAA. He's going to be tough to break in these indoor conditions. Very tough to break. Okay, Berrettini, let's check this. Berrettini. Up 58 spots to 47 in the world. It's so nice to see, Top 50. 58 spots. Was also out of the top 100. Okay, let me check Cerundolo. Juan Manuel. Look at this. Juan Manuel Cerundolo, 44 in the world. He's top 50 as well. Who else is in there? Bora Menchik was ranked low. Menchik was ranked around 30 after Miami. He's 17, okay? He's going to be 17. How about Fonseca? Fonseca, 25. How about Hodar? Hodar, 23. All right, so we got a lot of ranking rises, guys. Players going up in the rankings, which is so important, It's so important. 2-1 FAA. Again, look, indoor conditions, it's tough. He's going to be tough. It's a big advantage for him. The fact that the roof closed after that first set. Big return from FAA. Big forehand cross court, Cobolli running, but it's too much defense for him. Misses the ball into the net, love 15. Oh, that's a great question, Random Tennis Gal. Nick, in your experience and opinion, when tournaments go this way and there are a lot of breakout performances, do players maintain their level? That is such a good question. No. Even someone that goes in a final or a semifinal can go on a losing streak. There's so many examples of this. And the reasons for this is that now all of a sudden, there's more eyes on the player, there's more expectations, there's more pressure, and there can be a slump. It can be a big time slump. It's happened many, many times. So it can happen. It can also be the other way, where somebody will just continue to play well, like draw confidence from it, from a big result like this. So it can go both ways. It can go both ways, guys. Very dangerous game right here for Cobolli, 15-30. You know, this could easily be like a straight set cruise from FAA indoors. I'm telling you, like this could slip away from Cobolli. He needs to, like I said in the last service game, he needs to fight so hard right now, pump himself up, keep the energy level high, because this can slip away from him. FAA is an absolute beast indoors. And there's 15-40, just too much power from FAA. Cobolli just way behind the court, just defending. It's just not enough. Nick, would Djokovic had a better draw as the fourth seed instead of third? So you mean if he ended up on the top half? If Djokovic was on the top half, he'll be in the final. I think. It was that bottom half, and his draw was very tough. And Fonseca played incredible that match. So would anybody else on top would have potentially played like that against Novak? You know, with Sinner being out, of course, I don't think so. And there are several players on the bottom who could have played like Fonseca. Like Menchu could have played like that against Novak too and taken him out. I think, yeah. So if he was fourth seed and ended up on the other side, I really think he'd be in the final. And there's a break for FAA, 3-1. There's a break for FAA. Look, I had Cobolli going to the final. I was certain that he was going to come through, but I did not think of the indoor. I really didn't. You always want to think about the conditions. It's so important, the conditions. They matter a lot. And did not take into account that it could be windy, which it was, and I didn't take into account that they might play indoors. Yeah. And certainly, if FAA wins, and whoever is on the other side, he's going to be the heavy favorite to make a Roland Garros final. Cobolli calls the ball out. If he's wrong, he loses the point. And it is out. Love 15. If it keeps raining and the roof is closed next few days, FAA could win the whole thing. I think FAA can win the whole thing regardless, like even outdoors. But especially indoors, he's tough to beat indoors. And how cool would that be if FAA took Roland Garros? Like that'd be a nice win too. Like it's going to be very interesting to see what ends up happening Sunday. Cobolli is so fast, one of the fastest guys on tour. Wait, he ran that down and he missed that overhead. But you guys see him sprint? He was like way back in the court and he ran down that little dropper from FAA so quickly. I want to know what Cobolli would run in a 100-meter sprint. I want to know Cobolli's time in 100 meters. I'm sure it's incredible. I would guess it easily under 12 seconds. 11 something. He is very quick. But FAA just serving so consistently, hitting the spots. You know, it's a very good serve. He serves close to the lines. It's a very aggressive server, consistent server. And just the way he backs it up too makes him so tough to break. There's that 1-2 punch. He comes to the net again, but this time a much better pass from Cobolli. FA did not put enough angle on that inside out forehand, 30-all. FA was one of the youngest men's players to win a main draw match on the ATP Challenger Tour. Yes, I remember that. I remember when he won those matches at the Challenger. He was, what, 15 or 16? 16, I think. I remember that. A very talented player, FAA. And FAA serves and volleys, goes for that angled backhand volley drop shot, but hits it off the frame. Break point Cobolli. Maybe he was looking at the target instead of the ball. I don't think so, but that's a common mistake. You know, you look in there, I'm going to angle it off, and you take your eyes off the ball. Common problem at the lower levels. And there's the break for Cobolli. Now that's a sloppy service game from FAA. And here I am praising him for having such a strong hold game, and he basically gives it to Cobolli. Just gives this game away at 30-all. The easy volley and then another unforced error. But Cobolli hit that pass at 30-15 that was so strong, and then that created a little bit more, maybe more pressure on FAA at 30-all. So this is big for Cobolli. Somebody asked, Zverev FAA head-to-head. Let me see. I can't find it right now, but somebody, oh, do you think Zverev? Okay. Somebody asked about, oh yeah, there it is. Nick, FAA has a good recent record against Zverev. Let's look up the head-to-head between FAA and Zverev real quick. Refresh my memory. Because I don't remember. Did they play in the indoor season last year? I don't recall them playing in the indoor season. It's 6-4 Zverev. Oh, they played in a round robin. That's right. They played a round robin last year. FAA got Zverev. That's right. FAA beat Zverev twice last year. US Open. That's right. I remember that one. He made the semis at US Open. Now I remember. So he got the last two against Zverev, both last year. US Open and the ATP Finals. And Zverev got him before that 2 in a row. It's very even head-to-head. 6-4 Zverev. So that could be an interesting final if it happens. But this one right here is far from over. That was a crucial game right there from Cobolli, that break back. And a sign of I wouldn't say nerves, but just a little hiccup from FAA right there. That's going to send a strong signal to Cobolli right there that, He's in this match. That kick serve to the deuce side, to the FAA backhand, and he sprays a forehand. What a drop in level all of a sudden from FAA. Just mistakes galore. 40 love. Cobolli goes for that fake T serve, where it looks like he's going to do a kick, but he goes T. And that's just a low percentage shot right there. That's the type of shot is like why Cobolli struggles sometimes. It's just so low percentage. Just out of nowhere goes down the line for a winner. He was completely behind. It was behind the baseline, not in a good position to go for that shot. Misses it wide. But backs it up with a T ace, and we're at 3-all. This lesson this tournament is a lesson in recency bias. What do you mean by that? Why is a tournament a lesson for a recency bias? All right, 3-all FAA serving. Let's see if he can get back on track on the serve. But it's frustrating for him because he's actually serving well. It was just those 2 points at 30-all in the last service game. He's actually serving well. It were just those two points at 30-all that came out of nowhere. That volley miss at 30-all. So let's see if he can put it back together right away. 15 love. Nick, who are you rooting for? I'm completely neutral. I'm not rooting for anyone. I'm just watching. Completely neutral. There's a backhand slice error from FAA. 15-all. If it's that's so funny. Hitting Dave. If Zverev Cobolli play in the final, it will be the first Grand Slam final where both players are coached by their dad. Probably. Big defensive forehand from Cobolli. He comes in. And lob from FAA goes out. 15-30. Great energy from Cobolli right now. Feel like he's waking up. He's finding himself right now in this match. He is so unbelievably quick. The way he runs down balls. One of the best athletes on tour, Cobolli. It's just a lightning speed on the court. Just a drop in level from Auger-Aliassime out of nowhere. It was at, what is it? At 2-all, 30-all. No, he was up a break. No, he was up a break at the point. Up a break, 30-all, and just since then, He's just given a lot of free points to Cobolli, a lot of free points of unforced errors. The score is wrong, I apologize. Hold on. Let's take a point off. Heavy forehands from Cobolli, putting height on it. Cobolli goes to the forehand. And the forehand is starting to click from Cobolli. The forehand is starting to click from Cobolli. The grunts are becoming louder. There's the break of serve. What a turnaround in this set. What a turnaround, guys. But he's fighting. He's definitely in this match now. Okay, the tier of madness, answer what recency bias is. I mean, of course, I know what recency bias is, but I was just asking, what do you mean in regards to this tournament being... He says, anyone who has had good results recently becomes a favorite, then loses, sends everyone into a frenzy, and then they repeat. Sinner, Djokovic, Fonseca, big three on the women's side, etc. Look, you know, I've discussed this on my regular long form videos. You can't always go with what happened in the previous week or in the previous weeks. You definitely cannot. If you could, you know, so, you know, people would be predicting everything correctly. That's what makes tennis so fun to watch, because it is certainly unpredictable. And just because you won a tournament in the previous week, it doesn't mean that you're going to continue to play well. Tennis is quite complex. And somebody else asked, like, what happens to some of these like surprise players in this year's Roland Garros? Will they continue to play well? And like I said, there's no guarantee. They can go in a big slump. So you certainly cannot go by previous results. However, tennis is all about confidence. And let's say somebody like in a head-to-head, for example, has won the last 5-6 matches. That's a huge, huge indicator of what will happen in the following match. Because that person that's leading, or it's going on a roll in a head-to-head, is going to have confidence over the other person, right? Of course, that's also not always true, right? But generally speaking, you know, unlikely that the person that's on a losing streak in a specific head-to-head that's all of a sudden going to win, because the confidence factor. And similarly, when somebody is doing well on tour, winning a lot of matches, they might continue to do well and win matches because they have all that confidence. So it can kind of go both ways. But to try to predict who the player is, that's like on a roll and that's going to do well or not do well, or it's going to slump all of a sudden. Good luck trying to predict that. You know, it gets really obvious when there's a level discrepancy, which it is. Right now with Sinner and Alcaraz, because they go to the final in almost every tournament. That's a different story. But everything else, it gets kind of tricky in that regard. Cobolli serving 4-3, 15-all. Goes wide on the first serve, misses into the net, second serve. Let's see if he goes kick T. He does. Nice forehand from Cobolli inside in. Gets a short response, goes to the backhand side of FAA, who mishandles the pass. And it's 30-15. Completely different player, Cobolli, right now. Don't you guys agree? Like, his body language has changed. Best sport in the world. I agree. I certainly agree. Big kick from Cobolli. Moving well now, really covering the court well, Cobolli. Just like sliding from one side of the court to the other. It's so quick to get to the other side of the court. This guy is some mover. It's incredible. 40-15. Completely different player now. Body serve Cobolli, and FAA mishandles the return. Holds 5-3. What a twist in this second set, huh? Early in this, when FAA broke, we thought, this could be a easy 3-set victory for FAA, and we were, not we. I'm not gonna include you guys in this, but I started like hyping FAA up as this incredible indoor player, which he certainly is. But then out of nowhere, he started giving some mistakes to Cobolli out of nowhere. And this match completely flipped. Energy level, though, went up from Cobolli. It did go up. And then prior to him starting to miss, there was that one pass from Cobolli that was very strong. So in that game where FAA got broken to make it 30-all. 15 love. FAA with a nice service game here so far. Ace down the tee, 30 love. Another ace from FAA, 40 love. You know what's so frustrating for some players to understand is like, why do I hold the love here, but then when I'm up a break, I don't hold the love and lose my serve? That's always one of those things. The answer to that is like pressure. Pressure in tennis just gets very complicated that way. Love hold FAA, and Cobolli will serve for the match at 5-4. I'm looking forward to Friday. Menchik Zverev battle. Serve and volley to Zverev, forehand on wing on pressure points. Yappa man, that's going to be a great match. My big question is, can Menchik show up at his top level like he played against Fonseca? If he does, anything can happen. And I think he might. He might. It might be a battle, this one. They did play each other in Madrid, but there wasn't necessarily this type of Menchik there, I think Menchik is like a new player, especially after coming through that Navona match. I think this tournament for Menchik will have an effect on the remainder of the season, maybe the remainder of his career. I certainly hope so, and I think it might have awoken something in him, because as I said in my wrap-up video yesterday, he said a lot of matches after winning Miami where he lost to players that he shouldn't lose to, and I think we're going to see more consistency now. He certainly has what it takes to take anyone out, including Sinner and Alcaraz. Yes, including Sinner and Alcaraz, because he's got the entire package. You see the way he returned yesterday against Fonseca in those games in the third set where he was down a break, and even when Fonseca was serving at 5-6, like, returns incredible. People talk about a forehand weakness. I disagree 100%. I don't see it one bit. Maybe there was a case back in the day, but not now. And the serve is incredible. It's so huge. He backs it up with some, like, the forehand, the 1-2 punch, kind of like FAA. That same, like, huge serves, huge forehands can keep the point short. And most impressively, like, he's got hands. He's got such great hands. Moves well and just great feel around the net. Also in those counter drop shot type shots or angle shots off a drop shot. So complete package, and that, if he can access that game and play at a high level consistently, he can take out anyone, including Sinner and Alcaraz. So that means he can absolutely win that match against Zverev. Absolutely. He can win it. Yeah. But the question is, will he show up and play that tennis? That's the big question. That I don't know. I can't tell you that one. I feel that, like I've said, even yesterday or throughout this tournament, he still has these ups and downs where he drops serve. He has also this weird thing on the serve where he just, I don't know what it is, if it's a loss of focus or 40-15 Cobolli, 2 set points. It's a very solid service game so far. I don't know what it is with Mensik, whether it's a loss of focus. It's not a tactical thing, because it's the weirdest thing. He'll all of a sudden go through these service games where it almost looks like he's tanking. He'll take huge second serves and make double faults, like hit a second serve as a first serve, and he's not the type of player that does that normally. And there's a second set for Cobolli, a very solid service game to serve it out. We're tied 1-1 in sets here. So anyway, even yesterday there was a point like that, but that could have been connected to some kind of pain that he had or injury. But I've seen that even without physical issues, like just wild service games from Mensik, where he drops serve, So that's still there, and if that shows up against Zverev, he's going to lose. He's going to lose. So he's going to have to be clean, like in this match. Steady, and not have any ups and downs on his own service games. So I still got Zverev coming through. I think there'll be a crack here and there on the Mensik service games, and Zverev will come through this one. So that's my guess. But eventually, Mensik, potentially, I mean, that guy can be a top 5 player, no doubt about it. But it's not tennis. It goes very deep, because it's not all about like your strengths, and it goes so way deeper than that. And it's like it's very much a cliche, but it's mental. It's a mental game. It's a mental game. And the best players, they have it all. They're the best mentally. They're the best also skill-wise. They're the combination of both factors. And that's not to say that Mensik has some kind of mental weakness. He doesn't. But there's something there that's like not a 10 out of 10. Maybe mental strength is at an 8 out of 10. And someone like Zverev is at a 9 out of 10. And someone like Alcaraz, Sinner is or Djokovic, like 10 out of 10, right? So, yeah. We'll see what happens, guys. So this match, people saying the FAA is the indoor specialist. It's so weird. I mean, if you were here early in that second set when they went indoors, I was like just talking about why FAA is good indoors, and I was hyping him up as this indoor guy, and then he's up a break, and all of a sudden he loses his serve twice in this set, and Cobolli takes a 6-4. Hard to explain what happened in that second set to FAA. It was that, I'll be honest with you, it was that 3-1 game. At 30-all, he missed that backhand volley. He served a bomb down the tee. Had a backhand volley angle, short cross-court angle, and he hit it off the frame. And it went very south after that, because he not only lost that game, Cobolli held to 15. Felix lost his serve to 15, and that 2.5 game stretch cost him the set. Just a level drop out of nowhere. Let's see if he can regain his composure here and his consistency, because Cobolli now is playing with a lot of energy, and he's into this match big time. Cobolli misses the easy backhand cross court. 30 love. Nice serve from Felix there out wide. Ace, 40 love. Did you see Menchik's coach attitude during his last match with Fonseca? He absolutely wanted him to be focused. I didn't see. I don't even know who Menchik's coach is, to be honest with you. But Menchik was locked into that Fonseca match. One of the best matches I've seen from Menchik. That was really good. Menchik talked about his focus and post-match interview. I need to listen to that. I haven't yet. I need to listen to that. That's certainly his number one. Yeah, the stats don't show. You won't learn anything from the stats about the second set. Like I said, it's just a glitch for FAA. Out of nowhere errors. Why it happened, I can't tell you that. Was it a lack in the energy level, intensity level, focus? Hard to say. Could sometimes also just be bad luck, you know. Menchik was chill. Yeah, he was chill in that match. He definitely was. A humongous serve from Cobolli there. Monster serve. 198 out wide. Certainly the level of tennis has improved once they went indoors. You know, as I've discussed, once they went indoors. It was a wild match outside. I personally don't mind watching windy matches. I think it's kind of entertaining to see what guys can come up with. And it produces some wild rallies that you normally don't see. So I don't exactly know the reason why they went indoors, whether it's raining now or not, but personally, I know this is probably not like most of the people, personally I wish it would have stayed outside, but certainly for the level of tennis, it's better they went indoors. And I think both guys, despite that little hiccup there from FA in the second set, I think the level of tennis is better now than it was outside. 30 all. Either break point or game point right here. It's a big point right here. That's such a strong point from FAA right there. Just huge hitting and just keeping the pressure on Cobolli. Eventually comes to the net and a very clean forehand volley that Cobolli can't get to. Break point, 30-40. That's an interesting question. Has someone ever pulled out before a Grand Slam final like Greek sport did in Dubai? T's coded, I don't know. You should ask ChatGPT. I don't know about that one. I don't remember anything like that. What a forehand from Cobolli there. I mean, it's like, this is a Rafa level of running around the backhand because he's so quick. He can run around balls that other players might not run around to hit a backhand. Look where he was hitting that forehand. He was almost on the side of the court, on the fence or the whatever that is on the side, and he hit a forehand. And he would have covered that down the line shot from FAA if it would have gone in. So this guy is something else when it comes to athleticism, Cobolli. And from break point to add in. He is so quick. Big kick from Cobolli. And that was not good footwork there from FAA. Could have been a bad bounce too. Misses a backhand into the net. Again, Cobolli runs around the backhand and hits it inside out. And he holds. 1-all. T-Scoded, if you put that into ChatGPT, I might put it too. I might put it too. It's a good question. Let me see. Let me see here. Even though ChatGPT is not that great when it comes to tennis questions. Not that great. Okay, this is ChatGPT is probably wrong. I don't believe this. I don't believe this. Is this true? 1993 US Open Men's Final, Jim Courier pulled out against Pete Sampras prior to the match. Is that true? And 2023 Australian Open Women's Final, Anna withdrew before her match against Mauresmo. See, that's why I don't trust GPT. I'm going to have to double check this, if this is true. T-Scoded. I have to get back to you after on the next changeover. Don't remember Courier pulling out prior to a final against Pete Sampras. I don't remember that. Don't know if it's true. And I don't remember Anand pulling out against Mauresmo prior to the match. But could be. I don't know. I would have to double check. 2014 ATP Finals, Federer retired before the final to Djokovic. I don't know even that's true. I don't remember that. You have to cross-check whatever ChatGPT tells you and go directly to that match. Oh, thank you so much. The scorecard is wrong. Yes, hold on a second. There you go. Taken care of. Taken care of. I'm doing points. I'm doing the score manually today. It's because there was a problem. So I got a tech problem. Okay, Cobolli right here with a mini window, 15:30. Big serve from FAA down the tee. Cobolli, when he starts grunting louder, you know this is an important point. He wants it very badly. And FAA with too much pressure comes in with the backhand down the line. Cobolli misses a forehand cross-court pass. Way wide, 30-all. Yeah, I'm going to type it in real quick. Hold on. 2014 ATP Finals. Hold on one second. You're right. Was a walkover. That's right. I didn't remember that. I don't remember that. Wow, that was a walkover 12 years ago. Walkover from Djokovic, from Federer. Interesting. Wow, what a shot from FAA. Wow. That was a Sinner style two-handed backhand down the line pass. They're going to show it from this angle, which I'm happy. Barely got to that forehand. And it's actually a closed stance slide. Closed stance slide down the line, two-handed backhand pass. He's very fortunate to be 40-30 instead of 30-40. Barely got to that forehand. But that's what fighting gets you. You fight, you get rewarded. Drop shot from Cobolli, very good. Philly gets to it, and two-handed backhand swing volley from Cobolli. Back to deuce. Yeah, Yappa, man, the level went way up indoors. It's a good match now. You guys think this game will go over 39.5 games? What is that? This must be a betting question. I don't do betting. I don't even know. I never count games. That's not a thing. What is that? Oh, wow. What feel from FAA. That was such soft hands on that forehand dropper. Incredible feel there. That's a perfect drop shot. That's Carlitos style. That was similar to Alcaraz, I will say. Add in. And a nice hold there from FAA. And we are at 2-1 third set. 2-1 third set FAA. Okay, let's take a little deep dive into forehand backhand shot quality because somebody mentioned something about the FAA backhand. Okay, so let's take a look here. This is from Tennis Insights, which is a phenomenal Instagram page, and they're on X as well. And I don't know if they're on YouTube, but I think they're sometimes invited. I don't know the name, I apologize, but the guy that runs Tennis Insights goes on Gil Gross a lot. And those are fantastic episodes. And they analyzed the clay court forehand backhand shot quality. So let's take a look here. This is backhand quality, okay? So somebody said that FAA had a, what is it? FAA had something like a 3 out of 10 backhand rating in last games against Tabilo. Some people say because of that, he'll lose hard court on Zverev backhand. So first and foremost, I've seen this before, and I wish you could see it. Can you see it? Here, I'll put it up a little closer. You see those faces there? Those are the people that are leading on the clay courts in their backhand quality. And you see who's on top? Is Sinner, okay? He's like off the board. Look, this is hilarious actually. You see the court? You see Sinner is up here? He's so far ahead, but number 2 is Zverev, and 3, 4, and 5 tied are Fonseca, Ruud, and FAA. Hodar slightly behind them, and then it's Djokovic, Menchik, Rinderknecht, Medvedev, Bublik. So if somebody is telling you that FAA has that you're reading online that FAA has a poor backhand, those people need to get a grip. The backhand of FAA is phenomenal. And are you seeing a lot of backhand mistakes in this match? I haven't. It's like rock solid, the backhand. And it is also quite heavy. So yeah, I don't see that as a reason for Zverev being in some kind of an advantage over FAA. because the backhand didn't work against Tabilo. Remember, that's a lefty too. Sometimes it's tough against a lefty, hitting backhands. 3 break points, FAA. Love 40. That's wide. I mean, was this close to getting the break. That close to getting the break. He didn't miss it by much there. And Cobolli was on the other side of the court. 15-40, 2 break points left though. Three break points saved from Cobolli. Incredible. Incredible. Just locked in and didn't miss. Hi Monique, happy Wednesday. Shocked by the loss of Sabalenka? Yeah, well, I was too. I didn't see it. I'll have to take a look later. I can't believe it. Scroll through Wikipedia pages. Never happened a walkover in the slam final in the open era. There have been few cases in amateur in 21, that's 1921, Roland Garros women, 1931 Wimbledon men, and 1966 AO women. Thank you, Alberto, for the info. I appreciate you. So no, there's never been a walkover in a slam final in the open era. Thankfully. Thankfully. Because that'd be a big bummer. From love 40 to add in for Cobolli. Wow. Cobolli tries to go down the line with that frozen rope, but hits it wide. Back to deuce. What's the best stage to start playing tennis in your opinion? I'll get into that random tennis gal in the next changeover. Second serve, Cobolli. And Cobolli pumps himself up. FAA misses the down the line backhand this time. Add in. And there's a hold from Cobolli. Can you believe that? Wow. Opportunity missed by FAA. And very unfortunate that one forehand that missed by this much. Would have been 3-1. Now it's 2-2. That's tennis. Let's see here what's going on in the chat. Let me see here something. 15 love. Nick, how do you prevent your opponent from coming back or shifting momentum? It's so hard to do, because there are natural ups and downs in matches. Just naturally, the opponent will sometimes play better, sometimes play worse. But what you can do to avoid that is keep your energy and intensity levels high, even in moments where it's naturally going to be a little bit lower, to prevent these momentum shifts that can happen at quite unfortunate moments in a match. I'll give you one very, very obvious example that happens a lot at the lower levels. And it's like if you win a set very easily, like 6-0 or 6-1, and you're playing somebody where there's not a skill level discrepancy, where it's pretty even in skill level, and despite the even skill level, you win 6-0, you got to be very careful in the beginning of the second set for a momentum shift. So the way you avoid the momentum from shifting there is by playing as if it's like 3-all in the first set, or like you play with a high amount of energy, intensity, focus, and you can avoid some of it. But can you really avoid and prevent your opponent from playing worse or playing better? I mean, certainly you can get into tactics and all that. It's a little too complicated to get into right now. But the best thing and the number one advice for players that I have is just to always keep your focus at the match, keep the energy level up, intensity level up. And that's not an easy thing to do. It takes a lot of effort to be able to do that, because naturally sometimes you just kind of relax in a match and you lose some of that. So okay, as promised, what is the best age to start playing tennis? Well, it's going to be in between like 4 and 6, but I can't give you a specific age to do it, because it's going to depend on the kid. And the number one factor you want to look at is whether your kid has the attention span. So most kids that are like 3-4 years old, they'll get on the court, and even if they're talented and have good coordination and can even hit the ball already, they'll have a lack of attention, and they will drop shot error from Cobolli, low 15, 3-2 FAA. And they'll hit a couple balls, then they'll start turning their head, looking somewhere else, kicking the ball, like they're so easily distracted, and they don't have any attention span. So a lesson with a kid like that becomes impossible, and you can't really like work on technique and build muscle memory and all that. So it's pretty much a waste of time. And I'm not saying that don't get your kid out there on the court, but it should be just straight fun when the attention span is not there. Let's just have them have fun. It's like as if the tennis court was a playground, and it might be even beneficial to a certain degree. But there's going to come a moment in time where a kid is going to have better attention span. They're going to be able to lock in and focus for like a 15-20 minute period of time, or maybe even 30 minutes. And that is when you can start training the kid. That's when you start building muscle memory. That's when they start understanding the instructions. And they basically stop goofing off on the court. And that's when the real training starts. When that is, it depends on the kid. I've seen some kids have this ability at like 3 years old, 4 years old. Very rare, but I've seen it. Most kids will get it, would say 6, maybe 5. So it doesn't hurt to try, because your kid might be one of those kids that has a attention span that's better at an earlier age. So you just keep going out there until it clicks, until they can focus. But don't force anything until they have the attention span. Where some parents make a mistake is they think, oh, I just got to get my kid out there on a court every day and they'll get better. But if the attention span is not there, and you force the kid on the court every day at the age of 3, 4, 5, and they're just basically wasting their time, it's the equivalent of going to a playground, you know, because they're not going to get much better. Like I said in the beginning, might have some benefits for hand-eye coordination, but they're not going to be all of a sudden able to rally back and forth. They won't. All that starts when the attention span is there from the kid. And like I said, the age is unknown when that will take place. You just have to go out there and keep trying. With my daughter, I can tell you, because my daughter played tournament tennis, and I trained her every day for, I don't know how many years, like 8 years maybe. At 4 years old, it was pretty much a waste of time. But then at 5, it started clicking. We started training well at 5. So for her, it happened at 5. But anything prior to that was, wasn't really anything productive. But I still took her out there with me to the courts just to hang out and play around. That's another thing like that I recommend. Wow, what a beautiful backhand pass from Cobolli. Love 15. Another thing that I recommend, even if they're not playing or taking a lesson, if they're like 3, 4 years old, just if they're hanging around on the tennis court or in a tennis facility, that can be beneficial, I think, because eventually maybe they'll spark an interest and they want to play on their own. And if that happens, now you're in luck. If the kid like just develops a passion for the game and just wants to play on their own, that's certainly going to be the dream scenario. And I think if you take your kid out to the courts, that can spark this passion. It can ignite this passion. So that's my advice. A very complicated, long answer to the question, what's the best age to start playing tennis? The beautiful forehand right there from FAA. Inside in. It's a perfect technique. 15-all. Clean ace down the tee from FAA, 30-15. Nick, would you ever start a podcast and interview tennis players? Yeah, I have actually a podcast. Like all those videos that I do as far as like pro stroke analysis, all those videos are on a podcast, Intuitive Tennis Podcast. Would I do like a real podcast with like guests and stuff like that? That style of video? Not as of right now. Maybe down the road, I don't really know. Maybe. But right now, I just don't have time for that, because what I'm doing now is so time consuming. And it's what's another beautiful down the line backhand from Cobolli, 30-all. Right now, it would be too much. It would require just like a whole team and everything like that. And I only have one other person helping me right now, and only with the live streams. Everything else I do solo, except my website. So that would require a whole thing, and I don't know if it's worth it, to be honest with you, because there's a break point for Cobolli. Just two incredible points, like gritty points. You know, making something out of the very defensive positions there. That forehand was very tough, but he managed to curl it cross court and draw the error at the net from FAA, 30-40. Was that out? No, oh man, that was out. Umpire's going to check, but I think it was out. Umpire calls it out. Out. Break Cobolli. Wow. Wow, guys. Can you believe this? Cobolli just gritted out this break with some incredible defense, just fighting, running, keeping balls in play. On this break point, just digging deep, fighting, and FAA just went inside in. Looked like a pretty good forehand, but he played it too close to the baseline. It was out by this much maybe, and it's break Cobolli. That's crazy. Nick, when did you start playing? Did you play all sports like most Europeans? No, I didn't play all sports. I didn't play much of sports when I grew up in Croatia. My dad did give me lessons because we lived right next to the tennis club Split. We lived literally, you could see the courts from our balcony. So my dad was also a coach there. And then he actually went to Austria to work as a coach. And I was with my mom still in Split. And the courts were right next to my house, but I didn't have a lot of passion to go down there and play. And I would just do my once a week lesson, and I didn't show much interest in the game, and I wasn't very good at it. And I didn't do any other sport. So when then we moved to Germany when I was 9, because my dad got a tennis coaching job in Germany. And then once I got to Germany, that's where I started playing tennis. And I actually also started playing basketball in Germany. So I played tennis and basketball. Eventually I quit playing basketball because I was risky as far as injuries, but just tennis and basketball. But initially, I think if I would have stayed in Croatia, I talk about this with my mom all the time, I don't think I would have ever played tennis. As crazy as that sounds, I don't think I would ever played it. It's like in Germany, just that's why the tips for the kids. And what ignited the tennis passion for me was hanging out at the tennis club in Germany all day because I couldn't speak German, and I would just go to the club every day. A beautiful serve and volley from Cobolli there. He's on a roll right now. Just hanging out at the tennis club in Germany, you know, I made friends, of course, started learning German, and that ignited the passion for the game a couple of years later when I started being good at it. I was horrible at tennis until I was like 12. And then I got quite good. At 13, I was one of the best juniors in the whole country of Germany. And then I had developed a deep passion for the game where I had to play tennis every day, and all I thought about was tennis. So that's how it happened for me. So if you have a kid that plays tennis, just take them to the courts. Take them to the courts, let them make friends at the courts, and that could be the secret little thing that can ignite a passion for the game. 30-15. It's a very strong inside end forehand from Cobolli. Like, this guy is so quick. He can hit forehands from the craziest positions in the court. Rafa style. That's how quick he is. 40-15. This is a little bit off topic, but I can't make it through the Rafa documentary, guys. I just can't get through it. I don't know what it is. I'm the biggest Rafa fan there is. He's my all-time favorite player. I cannot make it through the documentary. I want to watch it and review it. I just can't get through it. It's so emotional. Like it's all these memories from back in the day, and it's something about it is like it's put me in some kind of funk. Like it's like some sad about it. I don't know how to explain it. I don't know. Oh, hope FAA is okay. He fell down. He foot got stuck. Hope FAA is okay. He seems fine. He seems fine. Did he make that shot? I think he did he? Did he make that thing? He did make it, didn't he? Yeah, he did. He hit it for a winner and fell. That was a crazy shot, but his foot got stuck. Anyway, yeah, so I can't get through that thing from Nadal. I will eventually have to get through it. I want to watch it, but it's just too emotional for some reason. I can't really explain it. I can't explain it. Even that first match against Roddick, I can't even get through that part. I'm just sad that Rafa's gone. You know, and that's it's just awakening all these memories from having so much fun watching him play. I think that's probably what it is. But and also the fact that he went through so much pain and suffering, and it's just tough. That's some kick serve from Cobolli there. Oh no, he misses the forehand, but that kick serve was incredibly like wide. What a trajectory. FAA returned from the side barrier there, and Cobolli had the whole court open and misses a forehand. 40-all. Kicking himself for the last 2 points. These were some last 2 points that he lost. FAA falling into that backhand, and then easy forehand miss from Cobolli. Better be careful here. That's how you can sometimes lose a serve. Double fault. Sometimes can go like this in tennis. You know, get some weird points here and there, and all of a sudden you lose your serve. That'd be a bummer from Cobolli because he worked so hard. He fought so hard to get the break, and to lose a service game like this would be a big bummer for him. Cobolli needs to get out of this because this will be tough. And there it is, an ace. Didn't go for the kick that time. Hit a flat ace from a very extreme positioning. You know, far away from the middle of the court. Back to deuce. And I like that, you know, I'd like him going for that serve. It's not always good to kick. You want to mix things up. Do a fake kick down the tee, flatten it out every now and then. I'm a huge fan of the kick, but not on every single point. No, Cobolli, frame, forehand. Add out. Maybe a bad bounce there. Hard to say. He really framed that. He really framed that thing. Break point FAA. And Cobolli saves it again, this time with a good combo. Wide serve, inside and forehand. And FAA overcooks that forehand, doesn't hit it clean. Cobolli's pumped. Energy levels way up for Cobolli in the second set. Starting in the second set. It's continuing into the third. It's a new player. Too much defense from Cobolli. He keeps lifting that forehand, keeps going defensive, and he just can't get the ball deep. And FAA is just pounding the ball and just keep putting pressure. Oh, snap. Hold on a second. Third break point for FAA in this game. FAA peppering the ball. There'll be something else if FAA can break from down 40-15 with that falling, running down that drop shot and falling into it and still making the backhand. Even though he actually fell after he had made contact, but still. This is insane. Are you kidding me? What a rally. What a rally, guys. The Cobolli just keep ripping forehand after forehand, and Felix staying alive back there, squash shotting like crazy. And Cobolli saves another break point. That forehand is something else from Cobolli. It's very heavy. Longest rally of the match. 23 shot rally on break point. Wow. Okay, I think now he needs that T serve, that big T serve. Go hard with that serve. Poor toss. Yeah, 3 of those shots look out right to the line. Yeah, I agree. They was so close. He does a T serve. Starts pounding the forehand again. A long ball from FAA. Add in. These guys can play. Yeah, Renato, of course. This is like this is insane level right here. Insane level. Level of play has not been in question after the departure of Djokovic and Sinner. We've seen some incredible tennis in this tournament. Cobolli with a forehand from very far away from the middle of the court, and he's able to really blast that one and get his body into it. Holds 5-3. What a hold. This was a very impressive hold from Cobolli, because like I said, that weird scenario there with FAA falling, it was 40-15. That could easily turn into Cobolli losing his serve, but he held strong, fought like crazy, and got his game. 5-3. Acha says, inside and forehand is such an asset for Cobolli tonight. Big time. Yeah, I agree with you 100%. That's a very important shot for him. And FAA changes his shirt. Cobolli needs a big title. You can make argument for Cobolli too. You definitely can. You can make an argument for a lot of guys. Big serve from FAA, 15 love. Cobolli is so underrated. Yeah, I agree. I mean, he's, what's underrated about him is his athleticism. I don't think people realize what type of athlete he is. That match against Bergs in Davis Cup last year, I've seen some things from Cobolli there that I couldn't believe. The speed is insane. That's why I say I would love to see this guy's track numbers, like 100-meter sprint. I think this guy is one of the fastest guys on tour. It's insane. And the one thing that you can look at is the decisions to run around the backhand, and they're insane on Cobolli. Like, he runs around the balls that other players wouldn't run around the backhand on. FAA, phenomenal mover, also very fast. He runs around a lot of backhands, but not as crazy as Cobolli. Cobolli will run around that when it's like when he shouldn't. And another guy that did that when he was younger is Rafa. Rafa on grass. I'll never forget this. Was so insane. On grass, in the early days of Rafa, off a down-the-line backhand from Federer, Rafa would find a way to run around that. And I'd be like, how? How in the world is this possible? This is physically impossible to run around a down-the-line backhand from Roger Federer and hit a forehand. But that's when you're quick like that, these guys will try that, you know? And a love hold from FAA, and Cobolli will serve for the set. Renato says Cobolli's serve was not good 1 year ago. You know, the Cobolli serve, technically speaking, is very nice. I like his serve. I also like the fact that he changes his serve position a lot. But, you know, one thing that back in the day, clay court specialists would like get stuck with is this clay court tactic of kicking every serve, and then on other surfaces wouldn't translate quite as well, and also opponents will be able to get used to it. See, when you kick well on clay and you can place it well, some opponents might not be able to do that much with that type of serve, and you can just keep doing it for the whole match. So the only thing I will say about the Cobolli serve that could be a little bit better, in my opinion, is on the ad side. Maybe it's too much kick there, where, you know, I think it would be even better if he blasted more on that side, changed the serve positioning even more, like mix it up a little bit more, and went more up the tee. I think that would actually make that kick even more effective, because then the other person would not have opportunity to get comfortable with it. That's the only thing I'll say about the serve. But technically speaking, it's very good, the serve. Also, stylistically speaking, I like the way it looks. Got a nice coil, a nice rhythm. I think stylistically the serve is very nice. All right, Cobolli serving for the set. Second serve. He's making an FAA run in this rally and pays off, playing very aggressive forehands, 15 love. Nick, what are the most important muscle groups for tennis? I can tell you, number one, legs. Without fail, you look at any of these guys on TV, they all have humongous legs. While some of them will have like more built out upper bodies, and other ones might not. They might be a little bit more slim. They all have humongous legs, all of them. That's a tennis player thing. Without that, forget tennis at this level. Without your legs, you can forget it. So yeah, legs are the most important thing in tennis, by far. And, you know, upper body, and not just upper body, but even the legs, you need a lot of flexibility there. So I feel that if the muscle is a natural thing, then it's all good. Like Rafa was naturally more built up. I think Francis Tiafoe is naturally more built. But if you're like trying to build yourself up to look good or whatever, that's not going to be that good in tennis. Like you want to be flexible up on top and have range of motion. Having a lot of muscle up there is not going to do you any good. Like you don't need muscle to hit hard. It's all about using the whole body and momentum. That's an important miss for FAA right there. He's complaining about something. That's a loose ball error right there at 15 all. Misses the backhand long. I don't know what he's complaining about. Let me try to listen. Let me try to listen in what's going on. I don't know what he's complaining about. I have no idea. But in any case, that's a loose ball error, 30-15. Cobolli 2 points away from a 2-1 lead to make the semifinals of Roland Garros. It's crazy. The big first serve down the tee. That's it. You see, I was just talking about that. Like, if he can go tee more, blasting down the tee, I feel that makes his kick even better. Double set point. 40-15. Let's see what he does here with the serve. I'd go probably big T. There it is. And a beautiful little touch drop volley to win the second set. 6-4. He's pumping himself up 2-1. Wow. I can only say wow. And key in this set was getting out of that service game where FAA fell. Big time. That game was so huge for Cobolli. So huge. Guys, gonna take a little break. I'll be right back, okay? Guys, I will say though, when they first went indoors, I did say that, you know, this was going to be an advantage for FAA, and I began to hype up FAA as this amazing indoor player. And I stand behind that, you know. FAA is an amazing indoor player. But I did also say that the level of play will go up for both players. So I did make that caveat right there. And that turned out to be true. The level of play increased tremendously by closing the roof. And interestingly, FAA is the one with that little hiccup there in that second set. He was in control of this match. That one backhand volley flipped this match, in my opinion, in the second set where it was up a break. So here we are, 2-1 for Cobolli. 1 set away from making Roland Garros semifinal. It's crazy, crazy, crazy. This would truly be the Italian revenge on the top half of the draw. If Cobolli wins this, there are 3 Italians left on the top half, no one else. Crazy to think. Tight call there. Forehand is a tad long from Cobolli, 30 love. Looks like a easy hold so far for Cobolli, 40 love. Interesting that the Cobolli team is not decked out and on, but they're wearing Yoma tracksuits. There's a ripper of a forehand right there from Cobolli down the line. He hit that so fast. I want to see speed on that. That would look like a Fonseca forehand. 100-mile-an-hour forehand from Cobolli, 100%. Show the speed. 93, I was wrong. Not quite 100 mile an hour. 40-15. Easy, comfortable hold from FAA there. There's the play of the day. This is a crucial game right there where FAA fell after he made contact with the ball. And thankfully he didn't hurt himself there. You know, this he came over that foot pretty bad. But the trick is, for anyone that's had ankle issues, the trick is to just let yourself fall immediately when you feel that you're coming over on your ankle. If you don't, if all the pressure goes into your ankle, that's where you blow out your ankle and you're out for months. You let yourself fall, make sure you throw your racket so you can brace yourself with your hands so you don't hurt your wrist. And you might get scuffed up, but at least you can continue to play and you're not out for months. So the trick is to let yourself fall. And Felix did a fantastic job there. You know, he rolled his ankle and then just let himself go on the clay and fell. And he's completely fine. I like that serve from Cobolli going T from that wide position. But what I noticed from Cobolli too, when he goes T, which is something that he definitely can work on. Okay, so he stands further away a lot when he's on the ad side, right? And he has a kick toss. And he knows how to hit everywhere from a kick toss, meaning from that 11 o'clock toss position. But sometimes when he goes T from that wide position, he'll throw the ball to 1 o'clock. And, obviously, that's something that guys can pick up, right? That's going to be something that players will observe, and they'll start reading that. So I would definitely get rid of that particular serve. And he's highly capable, and I've seen him do it, to be able to hit T off a kick serve toss, too, from that side of the court, even with that extreme angle. The serve and volley from Cobolli. And are you kidding me? You guys see that volley? Wow. Didn't know he had that skill, Cobolli. That's a Stefan Edberg style backhand volley. Incredible. I wish they showed that in slow-mo. That was some volley he hit there off a kick serve. Incredible. And they don't show it in slow-mo, that one. I would have loved to see that. One all in the fourth. It's a big kick from Felix. Blasting forehands. And Flavio running like he does very often and playing defense. John McCain, yeah, I'm watching the TNT broadcast, yeah. Not listening to it though. I got the volume very low, unfortunately, because I can't listen. If I listen to that, I won't be able to talk properly. But yeah, I don't see any other place where I can watch it other than TNT. It's the only name in the game right now for this particular tournament. Beautiful backhand down the line from FAA. 30 love. Big serve from FAA down the T. Forehand cross court. It's a fantastic service game so far from FAA. 40 love. This match is far from over, guys. A lot of things can still happen in this one. Simone, hang on, buddy. I'll be right there, okay? Just give me a sec. Give me a sec, bud. TNT shows very little stats versus other broadcasters. Do you think it's the TNT that actually provides the stats, or I don't know how that works? It's a big return from Cobolli right there. Huge forehand return for a winner inside in, 40-15. Yeah, I don't know who provides those stats, but I agree with you that usually they put up all those graphics and height of the contact and all that. I've seen for sure less of that during this tournament. And, to be really honest with you, I think sometimes it's like graphics overkill and stats overkill. I think stats, if they're explained properly, if they're, if you can have some reasonings behind showing the stats, that's cool. But sometimes just showing stats for the sake of stats it gets boring after a while, because like sometimes there can be like there's a lot of hidden in the stats. A lot of the match is hidden in the stats. You can't see it. And that's why you need to try to explain what's happening. For example, that second set of Felix, the stats won't tell you anything about that set, like what happened in it, you know? Guys, I'll be right back. I have to tend to Simone real quick. I'll be right back. Sorry about that, guys. I had to feed Simone. It was driving me crazy. So that was a humongous hold from Cobolli down 1-2. Huge to be able to get out of that game. And it was just 15-30. A strong play from FAA. There's a big point right here. Either break point or game point. Very important stage of the match. Cobolli playing well. The energy level is through the roof. He's playing some exceptional tennis. Big serve from FAA. Cobolli ripping the backhands, cross-court. Wow. Some strong backhands from Cobolli. And here's break point, 30-40. Wow. And second serve. Let's see if Cobolli will run around if it happens to be a kick from FAA. Let's see if he runs around that and goes strong into the backhand of FAA. He doesn't. FAA goes to the forehand on the second serve. Flavio putting height on the forehand. That's a good cross-court backhand there. And FAA misses his backhand down the line. Break for Cobolli, 3-2. Wow. Like I said, even though I was hyping up FAA's indoor skills, it doesn't matter if it's indoor or outdoor, it's still a clay court. And on a clay court, I just give Cobolli the edge. He's got all the clay court qualities that you need. And I think that's why I put him as the best clay court player on that top half of the draw, for sure. Even in the round of 16, I thought that. So I'm glad that he was able to find his best tennis, though, because he was struggling big time for about a set and a half, and he was able to get the energy level up in that second set, and is now playing his best tennis with the right energy, right intensity. Very interesting, guys. I'm up to the score right here. Big wide serve from Cobolli. He's been mixing his serve up really well on the deuce side too. Going T a lot, but then every now and then he lets it go the other way. Hold on, let me turn this down. It's way too high. Big T serve, but a huge return from FAA. Forehand clips the net, misses it long, 30 love. Cobolli was fortunate there. Cobolli has not been on the court that much, relatively speaking. 9 hours, 37 minutes so far. If he ends up winning this match, he's going to have an advantage no matter what in the semifinal. But on top of that, he's for sure going to be the fresher player in the semis. Arnaldi and Berrettini, the two marathon guys this tournament. Nick, which stats would you like to see that they don't show, like points won on serve, points won on return? I would like to see a constant serve percentage stat that's just dynamically updated throughout the match. That would be very nice to see. I mean, I have that actually on my app here, so I can track that, but just on the TV footage. Because to me, that's the most important stat. Another thing that I like to see is like, net attacks, net ratio. Winner unforced error is not bad, but sometimes they count the unforced errors wrong. So I don't know. Could be a couple more stats on there, but to be honest with you, like sometimes it's nice to not have any stats, just the score. Strong hold here from Cobolli. 4-2. He's 2 games away from a Roland Garros semifinal. This is a huge result right here. This is a huge result. Nice point there from FAA. Nice slice serve out wide. A good forehand approach out to the backhand corner. 15 love. Cobolli new top 10. Let me check again. I forgot. Didn't I check that a while back? I was checking the rankings. I thought it was going to be... Cobolli is going to be, I'll tell you in a second, live rankings. Cobolli is going to be 11. Not quite top 10 yet. If he wins the semis, let's see here. If he wins the semis, will he be? Yeah. Yeah, if he wins the semifinal, he will be top 10. He'll knock Bublik off the 10th spot. Incredible accomplishment, by the way, being ranked top 10. That's like one of these, that's a huge accomplishment. You can say that for the rest of your life. I was a top 10 player. But you know what's even better than that? It's Grand Slam finalist. Beautiful point from FAA. 40-15. Okay, Renato, that's really good info. Thank you so much. He says a semifinal between Cobolli and Berrettini would be crazy. Cobolli's dad was Berrettini's coach when he was a kid. Berrettini was even babysitting Cobolli. Are you kidding me? That's beautiful. What a beautiful story. I mean, that gives you a lot of reasons to cheer for Berrettini. That would be a really nice story in the semifinal, I gotta say. I assume they're both from Rome, I guess, no? Berrettini is, I didn't even know where Berrettini was from in Italy. I guess he's from Rome too. I know that Cobolli is from Rome because I have an Italian student. I don't know if he's from Rome or not. And he tells me stories about Cobolli. He keeps saying that the Cobolli could have played for AS Roma, that he was selected for the squad or something, the junior squad, and everybody was saying that he could have played the first division in Italy or something like that. Okay, they're both from Rome. Okay, thank you. Yes, that's incredible. That's incredible. That would be a nice story. Where's Arnaldi from in Italy? I know where Sinner's from. My dad used to work in that area in Tyrol. Not in Italy, but in Austria, but that South Tyrol area. It's a beautiful area. But where's Arnaldi from? Anybody know? All right, Cobolli serving. 4-3. Misses the first serve. $15 and $30. Nothing better than a comfortable cold hold here for Cobolli. That inside out forehand has been clicking today. He's been peppering that ball all match long. Arnaldi's from Sanremo, okay. And Cobolli played very high level in AS Roma. Okay, very good. Thank you guys for the info. Arnaldi's from Liguria. Where's Liguria? I can look it up later. I don't want to bother you guys. 30 love. Whoa, my goodness. What a forehand from Cobolli. That's insane, insane, insane. That's not where you hit a winner from normally, especially not falling back. Look at the court positioning here. Way behind the baseline, still moving to the left, and he just lets it rip. And it's a insane forehand cross-court winner. It goes like about this much inside the baseline. What skill set on Cobolli. And this one he like sometimes misses. This inside out, inside in. That kind of jams him a little bit. He will sometimes miss this one. He rarely misses the inside out one, but the inside in sometimes can go wide on him, like it did there, 40-15. Okay, so here they say the Liguria is Sanremo from Liguria, North Italy, coast city. Okay, cool. Thank you guys. I know that area. Yeah, it's a beautiful area right there. Interesting. This is the Italian revenge, guys. We're witnessing the Italian revenge right here. 40-30. If FAA can make this very complicated, that's where tennis gets very tricky. 40-30, it gets this point right here. You know, the nerves can start being a factor in this one. Second serve, Cobolli. Let cord. FA is almost there, can't get to it, and Cobolli holds 5-3. Nice little angle shot from Cobolli there off a let cord. And he's one game away from the Roland Garros semifinals. One game away. I still think this can be a complicated hold at 5-4, so FA has got to put a tremendous amount of energy into this game. Because, you know, the thing is that Cobolli will swing freely in this one. He can go freely right here, Cobolli, and let it rip. Let it rip on this one. And he does, but he misses long. That was a good serve too, good wide serve. Roland Garros final will be Zverev Cobolli. Yeah, I called that one. That's the final I called, like in the round of 16. Or after Sinner lost, I think. No, after Djokovic lost to Fonseca. I thought Cobolli and Zverev was going to come through. And you know, I was talking about their matchups too, which they had a couple of interesting matchups this clay court season. Cobolli taking Zverev out in Munich, and then Zverev taking Cobolli out comfortably in Madrid. $30 love FAA. Nick Cobolli would rather play Arnaldi over Berrettini, question mark. I really would have to do research. I mean, you guys can probably, like, you know, because, okay, we can go by head-to-head play style. I can figure that one out. But somebody just said that Cobolli's dad used to coach Berrettini. So if you put that into the mix, the fact that they're from the same town, they're so close, that makes it even more interesting if they happen to play each other. So who knows what Cobolli's preference would be if he could choose, whether he would rather play against Berrettini or Arnaldi. One thing that I can tell you is that when players have a history in juniors, and if there's one player that's older, the older player usually has an advantage over the younger player. That I can tell you. The older player the older player has an advantage because they were so dominant potentially in the early days. That's also sometimes the case with like brother and sister. Not brother and sister, or like siblings in general. Like not brother and sister, but like siblings. Where the older one, so dominant, have so many victories, that even if the younger one ends up like being better than the older one, and they're both on tour, the older one has an edge. And I'll never forget, like my dad telling me the stories between Ivanišević and Prpić. Prpić was a top 20 player from Croatia, who was older than Ivanišević. And Ivanišević would lose to him on tour, even though Prpić was ranked way lower. Like he was ranked, you know, like Ivanišević was always ranked like top 5. And he would still lose to Prpić, and like it was more of a clay court specialist, but Ivanišević would lose to him on hard court, indoors, everywhere. And it was a mental thing. So back to Cobolli against Berrettini, if there's a history where, you know, Berrettini was older and he was like dominating him in practice for many, many years, maybe Berrettini has that edge over him. So again, I can't tell you exactly who Cobolli would prefer to play in the semifinal, but I would probably think it's Arnaldi, but I don't know the history between Arnaldi and Cobolli either. See, the history is important, the junior record and all that. I don't know. I really don't know. Those are matchups are tough, but here it is, serving for the match, 5-4. Second serve. Short backhand from Arnaldi, but FAA misses an easy backhand down the line. He had a half-court backhand right there. He probably should have run around that. That was an opportunity there to run around the backhand and blast the forehand. $15 love. Big kick serve from Cobolli, and inside and forehand. That's a play he's been utilizing a lot. That kick serve is very, very good on the clay courts. No way Cobolli would root against Berrettini in the quarter. Strictly tennis-wise, I don't know he'd prefer playing against. Listen, look, I know they're friends, but listen, we don't want to go down this rabbit hole. Yes, they are friends in tennis, but at the end of the day, there's really no such thing, okay? 40 love, match points for Cobolli. Wow, this is crazy. This is crazy, guys. I know somebody spoiled it already. Double fault, I guess. There's a double fault off the left cord, 40-15. There it is. Game, set, match, Cobolli. Wow. Incredible. The Italian revenge continues, guys. We got an all-Italian semifinal guaranteed. What a match from Cobolli. What a match from Cobolli. He cleaned this game up big time, got his energy level up, was able to... Painting almost fell. He was able to get his energy level up and find his best tennis in this quarterfinal match. You know, I will say that the crucial part of the match was obviously going indoors. It changed the dynamic of this match and turned it into a higher quality match, I thought. But Felix was up a set and a break, 3-1 in the second set. And at 30-all, he missed that backhand volley. Proceeded to lose his serve, and that's where the match flipped, right there. Completely flipped, because then he not only did lose serve there, but he lost the serve again to 15, down 4-3. And once we were tied in sets, Cobolli started playing exceptional tennis. Like I said, energy levels way up, and he was able to take him out comfortably, I will say, in 4 sets. I think FAA was far away from his best, especially in that stretch in the second set, but then he just couldn't find his level in the next 2 sets. He certainly did try, but was making too many mistakes in the crucial moments. And again, Cobolli played high energy, smart match, won the important points, and is in the semifinals against another Italian, where, you know, thank you guys for all the info in the chat. That's going to be such an interesting match for so many reasons. But let's wait first to see who comes through that one, whether it's going to be Berrettini or Arnaldi. That's going to be a match of a couple of marathon guys. These guys have been on the court for many, many hours. So let's see what happens. The humongous favorite in that semifinal, whoever comes through, is going to be Cobolli, simply because, again, these guys have been on the court a lot. I don't even know how Arnaldi has any energy left after that TFO match. I don't know how Berrettini has any energy left after that Comesana match. It was like 5 hours and 13 minutes, I think. 15-13 in the 5th set tiebreak. And here's Cobolli, who had, I would say, a comfortable road. He wasn't out there that long, relatively speaking, so he's going to be fresh. And he's the huge favorite to make it all the way to the final. So, incredible tournament so far. And it's the Italian revenge in effect. Glad I was able to cover this one. I've been looking outside. It's been pouring raining here, so my schedule might be a little bit different. Let's see when that second match is. I don't know if I'm going to be there or not. You guys can tune in and see, but for sure we'll be... Let me see tomorrow who's playing tomorrow. Let me check real quick. Tomorrow is, I think, all women, right? Tomorrow is Thursday, and it's Kostuk, Andreeva, Schneider's, Wellington. I'll do both tomorrow. I'll do both matches tomorrow. I'll do both of the women's matches, for sure. But I don't know if I can do the next one. I will try. But if not, I'll see you guys tomorrow, and I'll see you again in my wrap-up video later today. So again, thank you for joining the live stream. You guys are awesome, very informative, and I'll see you guys then. It's the Italian revenge, guys.